Next, let's take you to the situation in Iran, where demonstrations over the cost of living have stretched into a third day. On Sunday and Monday, it was shopkeepers who led the protests, triggered by a drop in the value of the rial and inflation. Today, students have joined those in the streets, with unrest reported at universities in Tehran and in the central city of Isfahan. Well, Philip Turle is our foreign editor today, and he's been looking into this story. Philip, just tell us, first of all, how bad the situation is at the moment for shopkeepers.
It's bad, Nadia. The bottom line is that the fall in the value of the rial has made life very difficult. And to sum it up, there's a video that's gone viral that was filmed on a mobile phone that has been seen by thousands across Iran and brought more people out into the street, where you see a young shopkeeper in the street. You can see the video here, who is sitting there opposite the police who've been sent out to put down the protests, obviously with nothing left to lose because he can't make ends meet, can't keep his business running, and he's sitting in the middle of the street. We don't know what's happened to him afterwards. But I think a lot of sympathizers in Iran have said, look, this situation can't go on, and we're going to turn out to support him, which is something, of course, that is a total anathema to the regime in Iran, which has regularly put down protests in the past. There have been calls by the Iranian regime for the demands of the protesters to be listened to, notably from the president, Masoud Pezeshkian, and the parliamentary speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, but no comment so far from the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Now, what is this all about? Well, you mentioned a couple of points in your introduction. The first one is the fall in the value of the rial, the currency of Iran, which has gone spiraling downwards compared to the US dollar. Here are a few facts for you. Back in July 2015, it was 32,000 rial to $1. Today, it's 1.42 million rial to $1, which basically means for each dollar's worth of goods that's bought into the country, there's been this massive increase in the cost in rial, which means people just can't afford to buy anything. They can't even afford a phone cover in plastic, which you or I will be able to buy for next to nothing here in Paris. So that's why these shopkeepers say we can't sell any goods. We're seeing our livelihood go down the drain. People can't afford to buy what they need to survive, and the situation is getting out of control. So that's the first point. And the second point, if that wasn't bad enough, is that inflation is also high in Iran, 42.2% overall, 72% for food and going up, and the same for medical items at 50%, according to the Iranian State Statistics Center, which all in all, according to economists, is approaching hyperinflation in Iran. So all of these factors brought together have meant that people are fed up with the situation. They want the regime to do something about it. They say officials have offered no support so far, and they also fear that there could be tax increases in March at the start of the Iranian New Year, because the fall of oil revenue is very important, and so the only way out of this is for the regime to put up taxes, which of course they say they won't be able to pay. So that's why we've seen this spread of protests around the country over the last couple of days.
Okay, so a really serious economic situation, near hyperinflation, you say, Philip, and a drop in the value of the rial. Why is the economic situation just so bad?
Well, you don't need to look very far, Nadia. I mean, if you think about all the sanctions that have been imposed on Iran over the years, that's nothing new. Basically, to stop Iran from developing its nuclear deterrent. This is something that Iran has always said it's not going to do. It did sign that nuclear deal back in 2015, which led to the lifting of some of the sanctions. But after the US pulled out in 2018, Iran went back to enriching uranium, and those sanctions have been reimposed since then, just more recently by the United Nations, which has caused more hardship on not only the regime, but also, of course, on the people of Iran. So that's the first point. And I think there's also concern in many circles about what exactly Israel and the United States are going to do next, whether or not there is a plan to launch more bombing raids on Iran or not. Donald Trump has been warning about that, saying if Iran doesn't stop enriching uranium, then there could be more attacks in the near future. So I think that also is destabilizing the markets and causing more hardship for the people of Iran. These are the biggest protests we've seen in the country since those against the regime following the death of Mahsa Amini, that young Iranian woman who was killed, beaten to death for not properly wearing a headscarf back in 2022.